Picture this. You're 5 minutes into your evening walk, the same route you've walked 1,000 times, and your dog stops dead at the base of a lamppost, nose pressed to the concrete, and just stays there. You tug the leash. Nothing, you wait. 30 seconds pass. A minute. To you, it's a stain on the sidewalk. To your dog, it might be the most important information they'll receive all day. And what's happening inside their brain in that exact moment is something almost no owner understands. And it's something that 90% of us accidentally interrupt before it's finished. Without ever knowing, we just cut off a conversation. Because that's what this is. A conversation, not a walk, not exercise. A conversation written in a language we can't read, composed entirely of scent. Here's the number most people don't know. A dog's nose contains roughly 300 million olfactory receptors. Yours contains about 6 million. But the real gap isn't in the receptor count, it's in the architecture. When a dog inhales, the air splits. Part of it goes to the lungs for breathing, and part of it gets diverted into a separate chamber at the back of the nasal cavity dedicated purely to scent analysis, a chamber that stays active even while they exhale. Which means, unlike us, dogs can smell almost continuously, layering scent on scent, building a three-dimensional picture in real time. If you've ever watched your dog freeze at a spot and just breathe in, then out, then in again, slower each time, type 1 in the comments right now, because you've witnessed something most people walk straight past. Now here's where it gets genuinely emotional, because that lamppost isn't just a lamppost. It's a bulletin board. Every dog that has urinated there in the past several days has left behind a chemical signature, information about their sex, their age, their hormonal state, even elements of their emotional condition in that moment, all preserved in a compound library your dog is now decoding line by line. This is called scent marking communication, and it's one of the oldest survival behaviors in the canine lineage, dating back to the earliest wild canids who used scent posts to map territory, avoid conflict, and locate mates without ever needing to see another animal face to face. Your dog isn't reading graffiti. Your dog is reading a diary written by every animal that came before them. But here's the detail that should genuinely move you. Buried in the roof of your dog's mouth is a structure called the vomeronasal organ, sometimes referred to as Jacobson's organ, and it doesn't process ordinary smells at all. It's wired almost directly into the limbic system, the emotional core of the brain, bypassing the usual analytical pathway. This organ is built specifically to detect pheromones, chemical messages tied to stress, fear, reproductive status, even grief. When your dog lifts their head slightly and curls their upper lip after smelling something intensely, what looks like a strange little grimace has an actual name, the Flamen response, and it means they're pulling scent particles directly into that organ for deeper analysis. Type 2, if you've caught your dog doing that exact face and had no idea what it meant. Now think about why this matters biologically, not just behaviorally. 15,000 years of coevolution didn't just make dogs tolerate humans. It rewired their neurology around us specifically, but it did not erase the ancestral scent mapping instinct that kept their wild ancestors alive. In the wild, scent posts served as an early warning system. They told a passing animal whether a rival was nearby, whether a female was in a fertile window, whether a territory was actively defended or open. Sniffing wasn't optional. It was the difference between walking into danger blind or walking in informed. Your dog's brain still runs that ancient software, even while their body lies on your couch every night. The domestic dog curled up by your feet is, neurologically, still partly a wilderness scout. And here's the part that should genuinely reframe how you see your daily walk. Researchers studying canine stress physiology have found that allowing dogs extended time to sniff, what's sometimes called a sniff walk, correlates with measurably lower cortisol levels and a calmer resting heart rate afterward. Cortisol is your dog's primary stress hormone, the same one that spikes in humans during anxiety, and prolonged elevated cortisol has been linked in dogs to increased reactivity, restlessness, and even shortened attention regulation over time. Meanwhile, sniffing appears to activate parasympathetic nervous system responses, essentially your dog's built-in relaxation switch, the same system responsible for slowing heart rate and promoting digestion and calm. In simple terms, when your dog sniffs deeply and slowly at that one spot, they are not wasting time. They are regulating their own nervous system in real time, the same way you might take a slow breath before a stressful meeting. Type 3. If your dog seems visibly calmer after a walk where you let them sniff freely versus a walk where you rushed them. This is where most owners with the best of intentions get it wrong. We see a walk as cardio. We see the sniffing as a delay, an obstacle between point A and point B. So we tug the leash, we say, let's go in that clipped, hurried voice, and we pull them forward before the analysis is complete. Imagine for a moment being handed a letter, reading only the first 2 words and having it snatched out of your hands. That is what a rushed walk can feel like to a dog's sensory experience. Not painful. Not traumatic, but quietly, repeatedly unsatisfying, denying them one of the only forms of enrichment their instinctual brain is truly built to crave. And it goes deeper than territory reading. Some of the most quietly devastating research in canine cognition involves scent and memory. Dogs appear to retain scent-based memories with extraordinary durability. Some behaviorists believe far longer and more vividly than visual memories. This is part of why a dog can seem to instantly recognize an owner who's been away for months, or why dogs have been documented lingering at the belongings, the bedding, even the resting spots of another animal or a person who is no longer there. That lingering isn't confusion. Many researchers interpret it as a form of scent-based attachment processing, the closest thing we can describe, in human terms, as grief expressed through the nose instead of the eyes. Type 4. If your dog has ever sniffed a specific spot, a bed, a blanket, a chair, that belonged to someone or something no longer around, and lingered there far longer than usual. So when your dog stops at that lamppost, or that patch of grass, or that one fire hydrant 3 houses down that seems to demand a full 90 seconds of investigation every single time, understand what's actually happening. Oxytocin, the same neurochemical responsible for bonding between a mother and infant, and between you and your dog during eye contact and affection, is also released during certain calm, exploratory behaviors, reinforcing the walk itself as a bonding ritual, not merely a bathroom break. Every slow, unhurried sniff walk you allow is quietly deepening trust between you, because you are giving your dog permission to be exactly what they biologically are, an animal built to read the world through scent, without punishing them for it. There is something profoundly humbling in realizing that the being sleeping at the foot of your bed experiences the entire world in a dimension you will never access. You will never smell the fear of a dog that passed by 4 hours ago. You will never detect the subtle chemical shift in a stranger's mood from 10 feet away. But your dog does, every single day, silently, without complaint, translating a universe of information you cannot perceive, and asking for almost nothing in return except a few extra minutes at the lamppost. So the next time your dog stops mid-walk and buries their nose in the grass like the rest of the world has gone quiet, resist the pull to hurry them along. Let the leash go slack. Watch their nostrils work. Watch the subtle way their body stills as they process. You are not waiting. You are witnessing an act of ancient, intricate intelligence, the same instinct that let their ancestors survive for thousands of years before they ever met a human being, still alive and active in the animal beside you. If this changed the way you'll walk your dog tonight, that's exactly why this channel exists, to translate the silent language dogs have been speaking to us the entire time. Subscribe, because next week we're going to break down the real psychological reason your dog stares at you before falling asleep, and it's more emotional than you think.